From a secret overpowered fruit to an illegal way to get into the third sea as a brand new player. These are 71 things that got removed from Blox Fruits. Blox Fruits had to change the look of the original bosses because they almost got the game deleted. If you're wondering why bosses don't look like the ones in the One Piece anime, well, they used to look almost the same. Due to copyright, developers were obligated to change their looks. Gameplay would have been much better if we still had the real One Piece characters, but better be safe than sorry. Back in 2019, new players couldn't even get the boat because experienced players used to kill them as soon as they spawned. Fortunately, Blox Fruits developers realized that this was a huge problem since they couldn't attract any new players to the game. Nowadays, you must reach level 20 to fight with other players, so not only they fixed the problem of spawn killing, but also gave new players a chance to do some quests and see if they like the game. We all know that the One Piece fruits are sphere shaped, so then why are the fruits in the game shaped like a square? The reason for this is actually the same as the bosses. If you played Blox Fruits back when it was released, you know that the fruits used to be sphere shaped. One Piece once again thought they were too similar and almost got the game deleted for a second time. Developers had to change the shape of the fruits in order to keep the game alive. It was definitely worth it. If you're a new player, there's no way you know about Spectator Mode. Spectator Mode gives you the ability to fly your camera through the map, and this feature was so useful and overpowered. You were literally able to go from island to island and see if a fruit spawns somewhere. The command to get into this mode was Control-Shift-P, but unfortunately it was removed, and nowadays only admins are able to get into Spectator Mode. Blox Fruits developers changed the skin of the NPC we literally visit the most, and I'll bet that many of you didn't even notice it until now. If you take a look at the old pictures of Blox Fruits Gacha, you'll notice he's wearing white pants, but the new skin of Blox Fruits Gacha features black pants. Subscribe if you didn't notice his pants got removed. If you don't know who Ganfall Adventurer is, then you're probably new to the game. Ganfall Adventurer was the NPC you talked to, he's wearing white pants, but the new skin of was the NPC you talked to when you wanted to start a quest on the Upper Skylands. But in update 23, that NPC was renamed to Sky Quest Giver 2 due to copyright reasons. Rest in peace, Ganfall Adventure. If you've ever gotten falsely banned, you know how annoying it is. The old banning system worked too well. It banned players that used any type of cheat or did anything that's punishable with a ban, but it also used to falsely ban players that did nothing wrong. Blox Fruits realized this when thousands of players started flooding the game's Discord server with complaints. Because of this, developers built a new system that permabans only players who committed serious violations. And players that committed less serious violations now get significantly less severe punishments. Your besto friendo took his name too seriously. He was even able to level up your sword or your gun. Only 3 friends are randomly selected for this role per server, and since the 25th of February, Besto Friendos no longer deals damage to the allies. This gives players an advantage because they don't have to think about hurting their allies. One of the first things that was changed in 2023 was the speed of walking using control. From now on, it's actually the same for everyone. Blox Fruits developers say that this is only due to aesthetic purposes, and running speed still remains unchanged to this day. Did you know you can use abilities while eating fruit? Well, you could've. The fruit animation looked pretty cool when combined with an ability, but we assume Blox Fruits developers removed this because it was considered a bug. Who knows? All the players that first launched the game after update 20 was that will never know how bad Kilo Fruit was. It somehow managed to survive 4 years in the game, and now it's been switched out for a new fruit called Rocket. Kilo cost only $5,000, and it was usually the first fruit you obtained. It was literally a symbol for being poor in Blox Fruits, and many players used it to buy raids. Most of Kilo's moves were AoE, and they weren't very useful. So while it's a good thing it got removed, I'm still sad it's gone. Death King is an NPC that exchanges players' bones for different random items. But before update 22, you were able to find Death King in the first and second sea, but now he got removed from those, so you can only find him in the third sea in the graveyard on the Haunted Castle. Many of you may be wondering why your ally menu button is glitched. Well, it's not actually glitched. That button was removed in update 22, and you're no longer able to ally with another Marine. Before releasing the 1v1 PvP system, there were no rules when it came to fighting. The 1v1 PvP system allows you to kill or die to the same player up to 3 times every 3 days. For example, if you kill the same player twice and he kills you once, you won't earn any bounty from each other until 3 days have passed because the score would be 3 out of 3. Luckily, you can switch your enemies every day since there are over 600,000 active users every single day. If you have one special OP you hate, then you'll hate this update more than you hate him. When you perform your last resort, you get a damage boost for 6.5 seconds, and the buff increases the closer you are to death, so it truly is a last resort. Back in 2020, performing last resort used to take your own health. Because of this, players used to avoid it, so Blox Fruits had to do something in order to make it more appealing to the players, so they removed it dealing damage. Have you ever used it? In the last week of 2019, Blox Fruits decided it was time to add some new tracks to the game. I assume that's how the very known Sea theme was born. This is always my answer whenever someone asks me what I'm listening to. Before the 8th update, the game was set to take away players' bounty in PvP even if it was his first time starting the game. This made things super difficult for new players. Since then, players only lose bounty in PvP if they've got more than 2.5 million. And the maximum amount of bounty a player can have is 30 million. Throughout the game's development, developers added a bunch of codes. For those who don't know, codes give you things like double XP, a stat reset, or a single belly. But many of you don't know that a lot of codes got removed from the game, and these are just some of those that got removed. RIP to them. If you're an OG player, you'll know that the starter menu used to look way different back in the day. The characters representing each side are now different, but can you guess why? If you said to make the game look more appealing, you're half right. But the main reason why the characters were switched, especially on the pirate side, is because the pirate was represented by Buggy the Clown. Buggy the Clown is one of the most known characters from the One Piece anime, and One Piece almost sued Blox Fruits because of this. I'm starting to see why they removed it. None of you probably know that a while ago you were able to stop the combat and save your life. How, you ask? Just run back to the safe zone, and your enemy won't be able to hit you. This was changed in Update 6, and since then, safe zones are ignored if combat has already been initiated with another player. Do you think this should come back, or should it stay the way it is? The next thing that got removed but no one noticed is a feature that let players give 2 game passes in one trade. And I'm guessing no one noticed this got removed because, well, who in the world would give out 2 game passes? Before Update 21, there was a glitch players exploited a lot, but only those who knew about it. Before this update, raid bosses used to give double rewards if the player had double XP turned on. Making bounty impossible to lose in PvP for players that have less than 2.5 million is a great feature, but is it really worth it if we still lose huge amounts from every lost fight? Blox Fruits took care of that too. Bounty loss from PvP is now based on the enemy's level and bounty, which means you won't lose so much anymore. Spirit Fruit is known for being an effective fruit for PvP and is the 3rd most expensive fruit in the entire game. Spirits are collected over time and used when you summon a buddy. In the update before V4, instead of obtaining them from NPCs or players, you simply get them instantly. Pretty cool. For many of us, Kilo was the first fruit we acquired. Back in the days, Greater Heights used to increase Kilo's ability damage, but not anymore. No matter how high you drop, it will always deal the same damage. Still, this is one of the only fruits that can counter enemies in the air, and it only costs $5,000. Flame Z move used to be the same as in One Piece. It went through 3 reworks due to unknown reasons, and now it's just a blue fire called Blue Fire Bullets. That's not even similar to One Piece. Why on earth do you think they changed it so much? Did you know that way back in time there was actually a server browser? You were able to join servers you had never joined before and filter them by total bounty, region, and server name. Unfortunately, this feature got completely removed for unknown reasons, probably due to the difficulty of moderating those servers. One of the craziest things you could do a few years ago was to go to the 3rd sea even as a new player. This allowed new players to level up crazy fast, but the developers attempted to patch the glitch in Update 16, but their patch was unsuccessful. However, players under level 1500 can no longer deal any damage whatsoever to the Indra boss. Do you know what's the easiest way to find Mirage Island? Well, I don't, but I know that back in time, you used to need a full moon in order to find the Mirage Island, which is a special island that functions apart from all the other islands. It's also special because Advanced Fruit Dealer and Blue Gear for Race Awakening can be found there, and luckily nowadays you only need nighttime in order to find this island. Did you know that the Spike Fruit was previously called Spike Spike? Nowadays it's just Spike, and it's been in the game since Update 1, and is more commonly referred to as the Walmart Dough, since it has skills similar to an Awakened Dough fruit. But this fruit was previously hated due to its high chance of getting it from a Blox Fruits gacha, while not being very useful. But since then it's improved a lot, getting a large buff in Update 17.3. Are you really playing Blox Fruits if you never knew about the fastest glitch in the game? In order to do this glitch, you needed a Spirit Fruit, along with another permanent fruit. You'd take Spirit Fruit, activate the Flying Pig speed, and then switch to another permanent fruit, and then you'd keep the speed buff. Best of all, this was actually stackable, meaning you were able to do this as many times as you want, and you'd get another speed buff every single time. Unfortunately, this was removed in Update 20, but I still really miss it. Soul Guitar is a gun known for one thing: healing your health as you're hitting your enemies. Before Update 21, you'd get healed if you damaged someone from a boat while holding Soul Guitar. However, this got removed in Update 21. Let me know in the comments if you ever tried this. Portal's physical fruit model is a reference to Aperture Science weighted storage cube from the game Portal. But did you know Portal used to be called Door Fruit? It was released in Update 15 and soon completely redesigned with a new name, appearance, and skill set. Why, you ask? Once again, Blox Fruits had to change the fruit because of copyright and save the game for who knows which time. Flash Step was an ability early players discovered that can be used for the no-clip glitch. You just had to stand by the wall, move your camera, and press R to flash. That's it, it was that easy and always worked. No-clip was the first glitch discovered, and there are a lot more of them out there. Let me know if you want me to make a video about all the glitches found in Blox Fruits. Darkbeard used to drop something called a rare artifact. It was used for stat refund and to change your race from Tord. Demand for these was huge since they had many uses, especially for, at the time, the rare Dragon Breath fighting style. Artifacts have since been removed, however, since Update 11, and were replaced with fragments. Fragments are kinda easy to obtain. Defeating Darkbeard or Rip Indra will give you 1500 fragments. When the game first got out, it was called Blox Piece, and a few months later it became Blox Fruits. As for the previous things that were removed due to copyright, the situation was the exact same. One Piece thought Blox Piece sounded way too similar, even though there's a Roblox game called a One Piece. That definitely doesn't sound similar, not even close. Players started bullying the new name, but all of a sudden the popularity for the game skyrocketed just because of it. And this tiny change definitely brought Blox Fruits thousands of new players. There's no way you know that back in the day, Control Fruit's V move used to shrink after catching a player, and disappeared after the move. I mean, if you notice this detail, you're truly an OG player. Soul Guitar is currently the only mythical gun in the game. The gun uses energy, and before the latest update called Ghost Event, the Soul Guitar was healed from ships, but this no longer happened. Have you ever heard about the glitch that made it possible to kill the beautiful pirate and obtain Rainbow Aura? You had to go to Hydra Island, Flash Step into a secret room, then use Flash Step again into beautiful pirate domain. Once you're there, you were able to kill the beautiful pirate. However, this glitch has now been patched, and you will be teleported outside the beautiful pirate domain when attempting to do this glitch if you don't have it unlocked. A giant diamond player was one of the most exploited glitches back in the day. This glitch enabled you to become a big diamond man for as long as you were in the server or until you died. You needed to eat Buddha fruit, transform, and then eat diamond fruit and activate the encrust ability. This glitch was automatically patched when in update 17.3, devs made it impossible to eat another fruit if you were in the transform. Why did they do this? It was so cool. Did you know that paw fruit doesn't exist anymore? Well, sort of. In update 20, paw fruit was renamed to pain fruit due to copyright reasons, but the moveset remained the same, with the only difference being the word paw switched out for pain. But I think pain fruit sounds way cooler, because paw fruit sounds so friendly and not intimidating at all. Did you know that Magma got a rework and some of its features got removed? Well, not really. The only thing that got removed is Magma's old price, which was 850,000 belly. Now the fruit costs 960,000 belly, which makes me super annoyed. You probably didn't know about this if you never used Love Fruit before. Love Fruit used to have a move which gave you a flamingo. Well, actually it still has it, but the old flamingo got removed from the game and we got a brand new one. The biggest change between these is that the old flamingo used to only see you, while the new flamingo can see you and your besto friendo. Years ago, there was this thing called a treasure inventory. It was used to store fruits and game passes. You could only store one of each fruit, and you could upgrade your treasure inventory with a game pass, which allowed you to store 2 of each fruit. It was a physical chest, unlike today's inventory, which means every time you wanted to use it, you would have to walk over to it and open it. Paramecia, Logia, and Zone are the names whose meaning most of you don't know. Let me translate them. Natural, Elemental, and Beast. Those names I first mentioned are how categories used to be called back in the day. Just like sphere-shaped fruits and old skins of NPCs, the old names of fruit categories were removed because of copyright. This is because they were the same ones as in One Piece. Way back in time, whenever fruit spawned, you had to search for it and it was an exhausting process. That's because there were only 4 game passes, and Fruit Notifier wasn't one of them. However, that changed nothing for players who don't spend their money on Robux. Now that's cool. You're an OG if you ever had a soul fruit in your inventory, because it got removed in the update 17.3.5. The soul fruit was a natural fruit that used to cost 3.4 million belly. It was one of the 13 fruits that glowed in its physical form, and the highest move required 350 mastery, and the reason it got removed was once again copyright. Nowadays it's slightly reworked and called Spirit Fruit. Which one do you like more? I can bet my friend's life you've never heard about the Norp NPC, only because I don't have any friends. But that's not important now. Norp was an NPC that could be found in the cafe or the mansion in the 3rd sea. In exchange for 3,000 fragments, he would change your race randomly. You could get 4 races from him: human, angel, shark, or rabbit. Unfortunately, you can no longer find Norp. But you can find Torque, who is Norp's long-lost brother, I guess, because they do very similar things. If you're not an OG, then you probably don't know what String Fruit was, but it's pretty easy to guess. String Fruit is the old name of Spider Fruit. The moves were pretty much kept the same, with just a few minor changes, one of them being their names. Did you know that Leopard's transformation had this cooldown that was getting on the nerves of every Leopard user? Once you turn off the transformation, you weren't able to select any other item for some time. I literally don't know why this was happening, and it was probably a glitch, who knows? What's important is that it got removed, and Leopard users can now enjoy switching items like every other player on the server. Portal Fruit has always somehow been different from other fruits, almost like it was getting a better treatment, and this next fact proves that. Before update 19, players were able to use Portal Fruit and kill other players within save zone. Just imagine how annoying this was. I assume this next one was a glitch, but it was so good that I want it back. Players used to literally become permanently invisible at random times. You were able to notice this once it happened to you because it seemed like no other player saw you. Attacking them was a really fun way to prank other players, and seeing their crazy reaction as they wonder what's going on. This was way too hilarious. At the moment, there's 4 sea events in Blox Fruit: Ship Raids, CPSs, Rumbling Waters, and Mirage Island. But in the older version of Blox Fruits, there was not a single sea event. Grinding fragments was so hard, and many people left the game because of this and came back when sea events were introduced. If you knew that one, let me know down in the comments below. But way back in the prehistoric ages, millions of years ago, the maximum number of players that could play on a single server was only 10. I'm gonna guess there wasn't any PvPs. Imagine how cool it would be though if there was 10 players teamed up and getting richer together. Or you could do all your quests in peace without thinking about if someone's going to attack you or have the same quest as you. I wish people would stop attacking me. OG players still remember how Marine Starter Island used to look. It really felt like home to some players and they had a special bond with it. But Blox Fruits decided it was time to let go and gave Starter Island a whole new look. We assume they did this just to make the game more appealing for the new players. Just kidding, this one's actually a myth. Tricked ya. Have you ever been on the North Pole Island? If not, that's probably because you missed it during the Christmas event. It was pretty easy to find even though it was supposed to be a special island. It was located right next to the Frozen Village, so all you need to do is simply go to the Frozen Village, look to the right of it, and there you would find the North Pole Island. When it comes to the second sea, it's near the cursed ship. I wonder if this island will actually come back at some point. The North Pole Island that used to exist was filled with interesting stuff. One of those being presents, an item that was earned by destroying a big present that spawns on the North Pole at the center. You didn't have to break the big present in order to get the gift, as it used to open on its own after a few seconds, and release a bunch of small gifts depending on how many players were surrounding it. Each player would only be able to get one gift each hour, and opening a gift would give one player a random Blox Fruit, but also a small chance of granting a mythical accessory called the Holiday Cloak. The present event used to start every hour at the North Pole, but as the island was removed, the present was too. I really hope this comes back one day. Basic was a boat you probably never got to ride if you are a new player. It was a boat with medium speed, 2 cannons, and 2 passenger seats. It was relatively cheap at 2,000 belly, and was used in ship raids in the 2nd and 3rd seas. In update 20, however, it got completely reworked, and today it's called Brigade. The second NPC on the list that got removed from the game is Bone Wraith. He was added as a part of the Ghost event, but developers had promised it would stay in the game after the event ends. However, as soon as the event ended, Bone Wraith was removed from the game. If you haven't been playing Blox Fruit since 2018, then I'm sure you never got to see Poneglyphs in the game. Poneglyphs were large stones with carved inscriptions on them, added to the game between update 10 and update 12, but quickly removed on update 13. They were located on the Snow Mountain and the Cave Island in the 2nd sea, and the community actually doesn't know too much about them, with most believing that they were just a hint about an awakening for the rubber fruit. Valentine's Day isn't too far away, and hopefully we'll get the chance to buy the Cupid's Coat once again. The Cupid's Coat was a legendary accessory you were able to obtain by purchasing it from the Valentine's event shop for 750 hearts. This coat used to give you quite a few buffs: 12.5% more damage on fruits and sword attacks, 8% defense against any attack, and 400 energy and 600 health. Since the Valentine event ended long ago, you're not able to purchase it anymore, and it's considered removed. I've never seen someone wearing it either. Did you know about this? Let me know down below. Have you ever heard about Swan Ship? This ship was obtained by defeating the Dawn Swan boss. It had a 100% chance to drop if you had dealt at least 10% of the total damage. It cost 5,000 belly to spawn, and it had 2,500 HP and 4 cannons. But best of all, it had Black Swan Swan figurehead, as well as wings on the sides. However, Swanship was removed in Update 20 and replaced by Guardian. If you never got to see a speedboat in the game, trust me, you should just be thankful. Speedboat is definitely one of the ugliest boats Blox Fruits has ever seen. However, it was really fast, and the fact that it was only purchasable if you had a Fast Boat Game Pass already tells you enough. Speedboat was removed from the game in Update 20 and replaced by Miracle. If you ask any OG player what's their favorite boat in Blox Fruits, they'll definitely say Enforcer without any thinking, despite the fact that Enforcer got removed in Update 20 along with the other boats. Enforcer was the smallest but fastest boat in Blox Fruits, which had only one seat and could be bought from the luxury boat dealer for 1,000 belly, which means you needed the Fast Boats Game Pass if you wanted to be able to purchase Enforcer. And once again, it was removed in Update 20 and replaced with a much bigger Sentinel. Evil Wraith was another NPC featured in a ghost event. Just like Bone Wraith, we expected him to stay in the game even after the event was over, but once again he got removed. He was a level 2550 NPC, and upon killing him he dropped 3 to 8 bones, along with a small chance of double XP for 10 minutes, or the Ghost Fruit, just like the Cursed Chest. You probably know all about the Ghost Fruit, but I bet you don't know about its father called Revive Fruit. Revive Fruit was an uncommon natural fruit that cost 550,000 belly. This fruit was able to revive the player by using C move after being killed, and it was the only fruit with this ability. Still, it was very unused due to the fact that it had only 2 attack moves, and both of them were only useful on rare occasions. In the update 20.1, this fruit was reworked as a ghost fruit, and I must say it doesn't remind me of Revive Fruit at all. So was this really removed? Let me know what you think. Have you ever heard about the NPC that got removed 3 times already? The Magic Elf is a limited time NPC who sells several boosts and items in exchange for candy. It was added. Have you ever heard about the NPC that got removed 3 times already? The Magic Elf is a limited time NPC who sells several boosts and items in exchange for candy. It was added in Update 13 before being removed in Update 14, and then re-added in the first part of Update 17, and once again removed in the second part of Update 17. Last time it was re-added was in Update 18, and then it got removed on March 1st of 2023. I think that's the last time we had an opportunity to see Magic Elf, because something tells me he's not coming back. I feel sorry for you if you never got to open a Cursed Chest. Those were just way too fun to open. Upon collecting a Cursed Chest, 3 Evil Wraith or Bone Wraith would spawn and attack you, and after defeating them you could get 3 things. 4 to 8 bones were guaranteed to get, but you were lucky if you ever got 10 minutes of double XP, let alone a Ghost Fruit, as that was just way too rare. In the second and third sea, opening these chests would also give you 50 to 125 fragments, which was actually quite a good way of farming fragments. Speaking of fragments, have you ever heard about Rare Artifacts? Rare Artifact was an item dropped by the Darkbeard raid boss, with a 100% chance that could be used to unlock certain items or services. It functions similarly to the Fist of Darkness, disappearing from the player's inventory upon death or leaving the game. With them, you are able to buy Flower Ship, Dragon Breath, Kombucha, Stat Point Reset, or even a race change. However, Rare Artifacts were removed a long time ago, in Update 11 to be more precise, which happened back in 2020 and got replaced by Fragments. Comment down below which currency seems better to you, Rare Artifacts or Fragments. Flower Ship is definitely the most known removed boat, just because in order to unlock it, you had to talk to the Cyborg NPC, who was located behind the factory in one of the arches, and you had to pay him 1.5 thousand fragments. It had 2,500 HP, 4 cannons, and a small Easter egg bank hidden in the highest flag. It was really good for fighting on the sea because its cannons were located in the front, which meant that they had a bigger angle. In fact, this boat was able to fire at an angle bigger than any other ship. If you know who Wenlock Toad Over Heaven was, then I have huge respect for you. Wenlock Toad Over Heaven used to be the Awakening NPC, and when you talk to him, the name would display as King Wenlock Toad Sama Over Heaven in the dialogue window. However, he was replaced in Update 13 to the Mysterious Entity. Comment down below if you'd like to get Wenlock Toad back.